Laziness, a TV courtroom drama. Have you ever heard the advice not to write angry? It's a bad idea to reply or post your thoughts online in the heat of high emotions, especially anger. The one time I did this in a professional setting, it cost me 5 years of targeted abuse from my principal. Coincidentally, he passed me in the grocery store the other day, looking old, frail, and unhappy. All the trauma of those days came bubbling back to the surface like acid reflux from a meal you ate 15 years ago. Bizarre. But don't write angry is good advice, like don't drive drunk. They are wise words that I have tried to implement since that fateful email to my principal so many years ago. Today, I'm going to leap over the edge of the advisable and write angry. I still have the safety net of a mandatory 1-month cooling-off period, so we'll see if this piece gets published or archived. I have had serious charges levied against me during my life by 2 people who will not be named or quoted in this article. I'm angry, not crazy. The charges are laziness in the 1st degree. Ouch. I know, just being associated with those crimes has tarnished your opinion of me. I am diminished in your eyes. In our legal system, we are innocent until proven guilty, but the court of public opinion doesn't work that way. I find myself in the unenviable position of proving I am innocent. How do you prove that you are not lazy? It's much more difficult to prove than you'd think. Proving a negative is an inherently more difficult thing to manage at a court of law, which is why the prosecuting attorney has the responsibility of proving guilt. The accused does not have the burden of proving innocence. That's in the legal system, but that's not how the court of public opinion works. My accusers play the role of victim, prosecutor, judge, and jury in my trial. I don't think I'm even allowed to testify on my own behalf. So, perhaps this is a futile exercise, but I don't like being called lazy. It really bothers me. The word has been stamped on my forehead, but I object. I am not guilty of it. Doesn't matter. The conviction comes down from on high, and it has tainted our relationships ever since. They treat me differently, poorer as a result. In the same way that the label of felon follows ex-cons around for the rest of their lives, once you are convicted of laziness, you're forever a lesser. Today, I am in the inevitable position of appealing my case, even as new accusations are levied each year and new verdicts are stacked upon the old. Lazy in the 1st degree, lazy in the 3rd degree. Let's go through my key arguments. The word lazy is an adjective. It means unwilling to work or use energy, avoiding effort or exertion. I have worked my whole life. But none of my jobs have paid a high wage, been glamorous, or lasted long enough to be full careers for reasons of my personality defects. That's a joke, but not really, because I'm introverted, creative, and a gamma male personality, which hasn't served me well in life. I have provided for my family, but not luxuriously. I have been a teacher, a garbage truck driver, and a propane technician, among other things. So the accusation of unwilling to work seems unfair. Not as successful as desired? Guilty. Not in the jobs that complement my God-given design? Guilty. But unwilling to work seems to be an easy thing to disprove. Oh, hold on. I just received this note from the judge. My 25-plus year work record is inadmissible in the case because it is an opinion by a non-expert. What? It's evidence that speaks to my work ethic. The gavel slams against the judge's desk. Inadmissible. Oh no, I'm in trouble. I think that we are all guilty of ignoring evidence that doesn't support our case when we judge other people. So, I don't agree with the judge, but I can see what's going on. The court of public opinion does not operate on laws and statutes. It runs on emotions, expectations, and attention. All three of these things are highly subjective and fluid. Let's deal with attention first. There is an insurmountable problem in my case. As the saying goes, if a man works but no one is there to see it, did it actually happen? I work efficiently and often in the background. When I am observed sitting on the couch after having done, in 20 minutes, what others might take 2 hours to accomplish, I don't get credit for working, I get dinged for sitting down. The attention is drawn to the wrong moment. This throws off the math calculations in the evidence. How could I possibly fix this? I could make a list of the things that I accomplish every day to submit to the court of public opinion, as I know others do. But something about that seems like both a miserable waste of time and a futile negotiating with terrorists sort of thing. Therefore, I don't get credit for the work that I do. But wait. It seems like I should get credit for something based on the fact that paychecks went into bank accounts. Isn't that evidence that work was done, even if the work was not physically observed? The judge rules that because the numbers were not large enough, the paychecks don't qualify. That seems prejudicial. I guess that's the point. In my experience, lazy is a slur used to designate someone as lesser, weaker, or negligent of responsibilities. It's highly prejudiced by emotions, expectations, and attention. If the emotions are positive, you get credit. If not, you get dinged. Expectations are a gnarly, twisted topic of their own. I sometimes feel like these charges stem from a miscalculation of reality. If a person views themselves as the monarch and you as the stable boy, then all credits and dings will be allocated based on how much the stable boy serves the whims and desires of the king. Put a different way, if a person views themselves as the center of the universe, then when another person does not meet their expectations, they must find a fault in that person because they can't find fault in themselves. So lazy is the obvious designator for the ones whose service doesn't measure up. The judge slams his gavel. Inadmissible on the grounds of more than one metaphor used in a paragraph. Oh, shoot, that one always gets me. Metaphors are my weakness. I submit to the court the logical argument that not doing what another person wants at any given moment does not equal laziness. The case should be dismissed because it's not based on physical reality, but rather based on emotional realities. Motion denied. I submit to the court the obvious fact that not living up to expectations does not equal laziness. That sentence shall be stricken from the record and the jury shall disregard it, the judge says. The prosecutor stands and approaches the jury box. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this man, his finger points at me, is not a doer. He's a beer. The jury gasps in shock. The prosecutor holds up a hand to silence the room. That means he gets more satisfaction in life from being present in the moment than getting stuff done. The jury throws dirty looks at me. His love language is quality time, not acts of service. Several people in the jury write that down frantically. The rest lower their eyebrows in an expression of deep disappointment. In a generous tone, the prosecutor declares, now I will admit that he is a good father. His tone darkens, but he parents from the couch. The jury jumps to their feet and starts chanting, lazy, guilty. That's the story of my felony conviction for laziness in the first degree. If you are reading this after the mandatory 1-month cool-off period, I must have felt that it was important enough to share. I must have thought we should all consider what we accuse others of in the privacy of our minds and out loud. Are we looking honestly at all the evidence? Are our thoughts grounded in the physical world or tangled in emotional realities? Should we prosecute a case against someone? Or should we deal with the log in our eye before trying to deal with the speck in our neighbor's? I'm not pretending that all cases are the same just because I believe I have been falsely convicted of laziness in the first degree. Your mileage may vary, but I think a good rule of thumb is to try to extend a little more grace and empathy to others before taking them to the court of public opinion. Maybe you should account for, adjust for, and correct for the fact that not everyone is as perfect as you.